We work hard, we do everything we can to save, but when the end of the month comes, there's the bank account reminding us of a painful truth. The money is gone. And no, it didn't just disappear overnight. It slipped away little by little, silently, without you noticing. Robert Kiyosaki, author of the bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad, calls this invisible expenses. Small costs that seem harmless, but together can destroy your potential to get rich. These are 13 financial traps, so common they've already become part of daily life. Some you'll recognize instantly, others you may not even realize you're falling into. Today we're going to expose each one of them, and more importantly, show you how to get rid of these money leaks. Because once you identify these traps, it will be impossible to look at your expenses the same way again. Listen closely. This is perhaps the most common and most fatal mistake for anyone who dreams of becoming wealthy. Living beyond your means is like running on a treadmill. You get tired, you sweat, but you stay in the same place. Robert Kiyosaki is clear. If you spend more than you earn, you will never be rich. And it doesn't matter how hard you work or how much your salary increases. If your lifestyle grows with it, the result will always be the same. Nothing left to invest. The problem is that most people don't realize they're falling into this trap. It starts with small upgrades, a newer car, a top-of-the-line phone, a more expensive dinner, because I deserve it. But every little extra comes with installments, interest, and a bank account that feels more and more squeezed. The secret isn't to live miserably, but to live smart. If you want to get rich, you first need to spend less than you earn and channel that difference into building assets. Things that put money in your pocket, not take it out. Leftover money is not luck, it's strategy. This is one of the sneakiest villains in your finances, impulse buying. It's dangerous because it happens in the blink of an eye. You're scrolling on your phone, you see a sale with the phrase, "Only today." And before you know it, you've clicked, "Buy now." The feeling in the moment is wonderful. It's like you just gave yourself a gift, but days later, the excitement fades, and the bill remains. Robert Kiyosaki warns that this is one of the fastest ways to kill your wealth potential. Because it's not just about the money spent, but about the habit you're creating. Every time you buy on impulse, you're training your brain to trade long-term satisfaction for immediate pleasure. It's like trading an entire orchard for a single fruit. The problem is, the market knows this and uses it against you. Flash sales, free shipping for a limited time, last item available messages. All of these are designed to speed up your decision and stop you from thinking. That's why Kiyosaki recommends a simple but powerful rule, the 48-hour waiting period. If you see something you want to buy, don't buy it right away. Write it down, close the tab, put the card away, and wait 2 days. If after that time you still feel it's truly necessary and won't harm your finances, then you can consider buying it. You'll be surprised how many purchases stop making sense after 2 days. And each time you resist an impulse, you're actually taking a giant step toward financial freedom. Few things have as much power to trap someone financially as bad debt. Robert Kiyosaki calls this financial suicide, and it's no exaggeration. When you go into debt to buy something that doesn't generate income, you're basically agreeing to work for years to pay for something that will often lose value as soon as it leaves the store. Think about it. How many people drown in installments for new cars, designer clothes, or the latest appliances just to satisfy a momentary desire? And worse, often using credit with extremely high interest rates. It's like digging a hole and every month throwing into it not just money, but also time and energy that could be building wealth. Kiyosaki clearly distinguishes between two types of debt. Non-productive debt, the kind that takes money out of your pocket without bringing any return. Credit card installments, personal loans for consumption, financing depreciating goods. Productive debt, The kind that, even though it's a financial commitment, generates enough income to pay for itself and still leave a profit. This could be financing a rental property, capital to start a business, or even an investment in education that increases your earning potential. The problem is, most people were never taught to make this distinction, and so they end up stuck in a cycle of paying bills upon bills without ever seeing their balance grow. If you want to accelerate your journey to wealth, you need to cut non-productive debt immediately. Negotiate, pay off, sell assets that don't generate returns. Every eliminated installment is like making space in your life to invest in what will truly put money in your pocket. Kiyosaki always repeats, debt can be your worst enemy or your best ally. It all depends on where it's taking you. If it's taking you away from financial freedom, cut it. If it's bringing you closer, use it wisely. This is one of the most subtle and most expensive mistakes people make. Many confuse quality with status, and in that confusion, they end up spending fortunes not to improve their life, but simply to show something to others. Robert Kiyosaki warns, spending to show off is like burning money to light a fire that warms others, not yourself. When we buy something just for the brand or the social prestige it represents, we're not acquiring real value. We're buying an image. The problem: images don't pay bills, don't generate income, and don't build wealth. But on the other hand, there's another mistake just as dangerous: always buying the cheapest. When you only look for the lowest price, you end up getting low-quality products that break quickly and need constant replacement. This creates a silent cycle of continuous spending. The cheap ends up costing more, literally. The key, according to Kiyosaki, is simple. Never buy to impress. What others think will not change your financial life. Buy quality when you need to buy. A good, durable product is an investment that avoids future expenses. Prioritize assets before luxuries. Before spending on any status item, ask yourself, could this money be generating income for me? The truth is, as long as you spend to prove something to others, you'll always be a prisoner to others' approval. And that's expensive. But when you first invest in assets and then, with the returns, buy quality for yourself, you're playing the money game in your favor. Kiyosaki sums it up in one powerful phrase: the difference between the rich and the poor is not just in what they buy, but in why they buy it. This point is a direct hit to many people's reality, maybe even yours. Robert Kiyosaki is clear: relying on luck or living to impress others is a guaranteed recipe to never achieve financial freedom. Let's start with gambling. Casinos, lotteries, online betting, sports gambling, they all sell the same dream: getting rich overnight. But the math is against you from the start. The probability of winning is minimal, and the ones who truly profit from it are not the players, but the companies and governments behind these games. Worse still, the habit of gambling conditions your mind to seek quick rewards instead of building wealth in a solid, consistent way. Now look at the other side, buying for social status. Here, the game is different, but the result is the same. You buy expensive clothes, the latest electronics, or luxury dinners not because you need them or because they're of superior quality, but so others will see and think you're doing well. That's living for appearances, and living for appearances is expensive. Kiyosaki warns that this combination is deadly for your finances. Gambling on luck and spending to impress create a cycle where you spend what you don't have, chase shortcuts that don't exist, and get further away from building something real. Want a truth few accept? The money you put into gambling or status purchases could be buying assets that generate income for years. It could be invested in a business, a real estate fund, stocks, but instead, you trade it for minutes of excitement or a brief moment of admiration. True status comes when you don't need to prove anything to anyone, because your wealth speaks for you. This is a mistake that traps millions of people in the rat race, spending as if you've already reached the top, when in reality, you're just starting to climb the ladder. Robert Kiyosaki calls this killing the goose before it lays the eggs, and the image couldn't be more accurate. You start earning a bit more, get a raise, close a good deal. And instead of using that extra to build assets, you immediately increase your lifestyle. You trade your car, move to a more expensive apartment, start going to fancy restaurants, subscribe to premium services you barely use. At first, it feels like you're living better, but in reality, you're locking yourself into ever higher fixed expenses. Result, even with higher income, there's less money left to invest, or none at all. This behavior creates a vicious cycle. To sustain the new lifestyle, you have to work more, accept commitments you don't want, live under constant stress. Financial freedom, which should be the goal, drifts further away. Kiyosaki argues that the smart path is exactly the opposite. Until you're financially free, keep your expenses stable and reinvest every income increase into assets. Over time, those assets will generate enough income to pay for the lifestyle you want, without any strain. The point is simple: living well before your time is an expensive illusion. Living below your means now is an investment that will let you live like a true millionaire in the future. And the best part, without worry. Now that you know these silent enemies, overspending, impulse buying, bad debt, luxury for status, gambling, spending to please others, and an exaggerated lifestyle before your time, you can no longer pretend you don't know where your money is disappearing. Robert Kiyosaki always repeats, financial freedom is not a stroke of luck. It's a consequence of the choices you make every day. And these choices start with small things. The daily coffee that seems harmless, the unmissable discount you buy without needing it, the new car that doesn't generate a cent of return. All of this, when added up, is what keeps your bank account stagnant. The good news is, from now on, you can turn the game around. Just become aware and change habits. Ask yourself before spending, will this bring me returns or just give me momentary pleasure? Am I buying for myself or to impress others? Can I use this money to generate more money? Wealth is not about how much you earn, but about how much you keep and make grow. Cut the leaks, direct your resources toward assets, and you'll realize that even without a salary increase, your net worth can start to grow. This is one of the most silent traps of modern finances. Nowadays, everything is subscription-based. Movie streaming, music, fitness apps, games, software, online courses. And the problem is that many of these subscriptions keep charging you even when you no longer use them. Robert Kiyosaki calls this ghost money, money that leaves your account without you noticing. A small monthly amount may not grab your attention, but over the course of a year, it turns into a significant sum that could be invested instead. The danger lies in the lack of attention. You sign up for a service just to try it out and forget to cancel. Or you keep several platforms at the same time, when in reality, you only use one. This creates a constant drip of money toward things that add nothing to your net worth. The solution: conduct a personal financial audit, list all your subscriptions, check which ones you actually use, and cancel the ones that have no real value. And more, whenever you're about to subscribe to something new, ask yourself, will this generate returns, or is it just another recurring expense that will keep me on autopilot? Each cancelled subscription is a small raise you give yourself. This is a silent thief that many people ignore, but over the years, it can cost you a small fortune. Account maintenance fees, credit card fees, transfer charges, out-of-network ATM withdrawals, high annual fees. All of these drain money from your account without you realizing the real impact. Robert Kiyosaki warns that paying for unnecessary banking services is like leaving a hole open in your wallet. Banks love customers who don't question fees because these small charges, multiplied by millions of people, generate massive profits for them. The problem is that many people don't bother to review their statements and identify these fees. And when they do, they think, oh, it's just a small amount. But that small amount is exactly what keeps your money stuck in the bank instead of working for you. The solution is simple. Look for fee-free digital accounts, no annual fee credit cards, and services that actually meet your needs. Negotiate with your bank or switch institutions. With the options available today, paying banking fees out of convenience is literally throwing money away. Remember, every dollar you save on fees is a dollar that can be invested in an asset. And assets, unlike banks, work to put money in your pocket. In the United States, credit cards are seen as an ally until they turn into your worst enemy. Millions of Americans carry credit card debt without realizing the true weight of interest. And here's a shock. The average annual credit card interest rate can exceed 20%. That means a purchase of just $500 could end up costing more than $600 in a few months if you only pay the minimum. Robert Kiyosaki explains that high interest is one of the fastest ways to transfer wealth from you to the banks. When you finance consumption with a credit card, you're basically giving them permission to charge rent on your own money. The problem is that the ease of plastic creates the illusion that you can spend more than you actually have. It's a psychological trap. You don't feel the impact right away, but it hits hard on the next month's bill. And when you can't pay in full, interest kicks in and starts snowballing. The golden rule: never carry a credit card balance. Always pay the full statement amount by the due date. If you can't pay in full, you probably can't afford the purchase. And if you're already stuck in this debt, your focus should be on paying it off as quickly as possible before interest eats away even more of your money. Every dollar you don't pay in interest is a dollar you can put into an investment that works for you, not against you. This is one of the most dangerous, invisible expenses because it may seem at first glance like a smart financial decision. You see a cheaper product, think you're saving money, and buy it. But in practice, you end up spending much more. Robert Kiyosaki explains that this mistake comes from confusing low price with good value. For example, you buy a pair of shoes for $30 instead of $80. It seems like a great deal, until 6 months later, the cheap shoes are worn out and you need to buy another pair. Meanwhile, the more expensive, better quality shoes could have lasted for years. In the end, you spend $90, $120, or even more without realizing it. The same happens with furniture, electronics, tools, clothes, and even services. Choosing based only on the lowest price without considering durability and quality creates a constant replacement cycle that drains your money. It's the famous cheap ends up expensive. And in dollars, this multiplies quickly. The right mindset is to think like an investor. When you need to buy something, consider how long it will last, the cost per use, and whether it truly meets your needs. Often, paying more for quality is actually saving in the long run. Remember, the goal isn't to spend less now, but to spend smart so you keep more money in your pocket in the future. This is a classic, especially among Americans. Every year, big brands launch a new model of smartphone, laptop, tablet, or smartwatch. The campaign is seductive. Stunning videos, promises of faster performance, better cameras, sleeker design. And suddenly, you start thinking your old device, which worked perfectly fine until yesterday, is no longer good enough. Robert Kiyosaki warns that this is a consumption cycle designed to keep you stuck in the idea that you always need the latest release. And the cost of that in dollars is high. A top-of-the-line smartphone can cost $100 to $200 or more. If you upgrade every year, in 5 years you'll have spent over $6,000 just to maintain the feeling of newness. And you'll still lose money reselling the depreciated previous model. The same applies to laptops, TVs, gaming consoles, and other electronics. Many of these new versions offer minimal changes that don't justify the investment. In practice, you're buying excitement, not necessity. The smart strategy is to get the most out of your device's lifespan. Upgrade only when maintenance costs or technological limitations truly affect your productivity or quality of life. And when you do buy, consider previous models that still deliver high performance at a lower price. The money saved here can be redirected into assets that appreciate, unlike gadgets, which lose value the moment you open the box. This is an expense that may seem small, but when you do the math, can be a real money drain. In the United States, a simple meal at a restaurant can easily cost $15 to $20 per person. Add drinks, dessert, or a tip, and the bill rises quickly. Now think, if you eat out 3 times a week, this can exceed $200 a month, more than $2,400 a year. Robert Kiyosaki explains that eating out frequently is not just an immediate spending issue, but a financial habit. The more you get used to this convenience, the harder it becomes to opt for more economical alternatives. And the problem is that most of the time, these meals bring no lasting return. It's money that literally disappears in a few hours. Of course, this doesn't mean never dining out. Leisure and celebration moments are important. The issue is when occasional becomes routine. Cooking at home, bringing lunch to work, and learning simple recipes can cut this expense in half or more. Kiyosaki always reminds us, every dollar you don't spend on immediate consumption can be turned into an invested dollar. And that invested dollar can work for you for decades. The goal isn't to cut pleasures completely, but to make them a conscious choice. Not an autopilot habit that eats up your budget every month. With the ease of a click, online shopping has become one of the biggest budget holes for millions of Americans. Platforms like Amazon, eBay, and countless online stores have created a system where you can buy anything at any time, and worse, have it delivered the next day. This convenience is dangerous because it eliminates the cooling off time before making a purchase. Robert Kiyosaki warns that the online environment is designed to encourage impulsive consumption. Sale notifications, personalized ads, free shipping, countdown timers for deals. All of this triggers a sense of urgency and makes you act before thinking. And even seemingly small amounts like $25 here and $40 there add up quickly. By the end of the month, you might find you've spent $300 or more on things you barely remember buying. The problem is that unlike an investment, these items rarely generate any return. Most lose value as soon as they arrive, and some end up forgotten in a drawer. The strategy to avoid this trap is to create a conscious shopping system. Make a list and only buy what's on it. Put items in your cart, but wait 48 hours before checking out. Set a fixed monthly budget for non-essential purchases. Every delayed purchase is a chance to keep more dollars in your pocket and redirect them into assets that actually build wealth. Now that you know these invisible expenses, from luxury for status to impulse buying, forgotten subscriptions, credit card interest, eating out, and uncontrolled online shopping, it's impossible to say you don't know where your money is going. Robert Kiyosaki always repeats, wealth doesn't depend only on how much you earn, but on how much you keep and multiply. And keeping and multiplying requires attention. Every dollar you don't spend on something that brings no return is a dollar that can be put to work for you. The key is simple but powerful. Identify where your money is leaking. Cut expenses that don't generate real value or returns. Redirect that money toward assets, investments, businesses, financial education. It may seem like saving $50, $100, or $200 a month won't make much of a difference. But over the years, that amount invested can turn into tens of thousands of dollars. And that's what separates those who live paycheck to paycheck from those who achieve financial freedom. So, I want to know, of the expenses Kiyosaki revealed, which one holds you back the most today? Leave it in the comments, like this video, and subscribe to the channel, because in our next content, we're going to talk about how to turn every dollar saved into an income-generating machine. And that could be the step that completely changes your financial future. And one more thing, share this video with someone you know who also needs to cut expenses. And of course, like the video and subscribe to the channel to keep receiving tips that will transform your financial future.